Ladies and gentlemen of antiquity, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to our Anno 117 Pax Romana build guide for our Chaos Dwarf build, in which we're going to be using the Fires of Industry, the Forges, to really get things going, take down our opponents, and make a ton of money in the process. So this is a build I've been using so far in this early access here that has been so much fun, and I think it's the build I'm going to be using when we do go into some multiplayer matches. So thank you to Ubisoft for sponsoring today's video. The game itself going to be coming out here in a couple days on November 13th. Will be available on Steam, Epic, Ubisoft Connect, Xbox, and PlayStation. So without further ado, let's get this party started. And as soon as we do get the launch of the game, I will be doing a whole bunch of multiplayer streams. Going to grab some of the homies, do some 4-player multiplayer, and yeah, have some fun with it. So let's get this going. Firstly, if you're going to be playing Chaos Dwarves here, you do need to get the Imperial Red and make sure you get the Minotaur banner. You know, very much in the flavor of Hashut, the Great Bullfather. And aside from that, you're good to go. Let's get it. And so begins our adventure here, and the Fires of Industry will be lit here relatively soon. Now, the one thing you need to make sure for this build to work, you gotta make sure that you have iron deposits on your island. So we do have iron deposits. Boom, we're good to go. We're gonna get that fired up, and I will show you guys the build as we progress. But the basic idea is weapons crafting, armor crafting tech, worship the god Ares, get that industry going, hope your city doesn't burn down, and conquer all of the lands of antiquity. So as you start to get your city developed here in this build, one of the first and most important things you want to do if you really want to become a financial tyrant is you want to build your housing settlements near the water. And the main reason you do this is because you place a sardine fishing hut, and later on you're going to be getting a tech within your tech tree which is called fishing markets. So what that does is it gives your sardine manufacturing, or any sort of a fishing hut, whether it be later on tier fishing or your basic fishing, an area of effect which gives +3 income to everything in range. This is an insane tech. Basically, you focus your settlements on the coast, which I know it's not very Dowie-Czar, but regardless, it's very, very good with the fishing markets, and you're going to be getting a big income boost. So something to note for this type of a build, go for it. Build it near the coast. You don't have to build all your settlements, but what you can squeeze near the settlements. For example, later on, I'll move my lumber infrastructure more inland, and I'm going to use this real estate here to set up more houses. So then I'm going to be able to get a huge economic boost from the fishing markets. So as we establish our first living quarters here, you can see our little neighborhood. The one thing you want to do with the fishing markets, you build a fishing hut, and then you're going to see a green trail, essentially, where it is going to have its sphere of influence. So later on, when we do get the fishing markets, these houses here are going to be giving us a bunch of money. So we're going to set up our tavern, our marketplace, and we are going to continue progressing on. So of course, if you are going to be playing a Fires of Industry build as well, you really got to get, have things to light the fire. So this was also in my beginners video that we put up yesterday. Do not be afraid to go absolutely bananas on wood early on. It really skyrockets your advancement here. You can see we've kind of expanded on the middle of the island. You can click on the chain here and see we built 4 more lumber camps, including the 2 that we do have. Eventually, this landscape is going to be terraformed into an evil Dowie-Czar hellscape, where we're going to be making a ton of money and really feasting. So definitely give it a try, and yeah, we will continue on our way and get the old iron going here relatively soon. Of course, if you want to make quite a bit of money, you need to make sure to get your area of effect buildings in that nice juicy spot. You can see here we've set up our little village in such a way that, it's basically going to be hitting everything. Later on, the way you make a lot of money with this build is, like I said, with Ares, the god of war. He increases the efficiency of many of your chains, like armor crafting, as well as weapon crafting, charcoal burning. You place those within the city, massively increase the fire hazard, but make a lot of money. You guys will see. So we're going to place this down here. We're going to place this down here as well. So that is our felter, and that is also going to be our clother there. And that is going to start making us money. You're going to need a warehouse, because we don't know if this one is going to reach all the way. Let's see. So yeah, it looks like they can actually both reach the warehouse here on the shore. Another benefit of building near the coastline here. All right, all's good. The Fires of Industry and our economy will be skyrocketing soon. So as we talked about earlier, we did relocate our wood economy here from the coast over to the inland here, so we can take a look at our wood chain. So we are really feasting. Currently sitting on, I think, 5 or 6 wood, and then of course sawmills are going to be there for each of them. Because with wood, 30 seconds and 30 seconds. So 1-to-1 ratio with your supply chain there. And now it's time to use this just booming wood economy to set up another coastal settlement, which then we can set up more fishing markets to really get that big boom there. And using the copy and pasting tool, we were able to just do it just like this. I'll go ahead and show you guys. You click here with the little tool, you drag and drop there. That's going to be copying the entire template for that region. Then you just move it on over here, and basically we're going to be able to drop it just like so, keeping it near the water to get that sweet maximized fishing market. So we're going to drop it, kaboom, And we have enough wood to build it all in one go, but normally you, of course, would want to do planning mode to make sure you have the resources to do it. But what we're going to do is get the market set up and make sure all the needs are met here for the people. You can see here the needs are being met, so we're pretty close to tier 2, and tier 2 is where this build really pops off. And there are a lot of builds and kind of styles that really, are more late game, but I would say the Ares Chaos Dwarf style is very, very powerful at tier 2, and that's where you're going to be kind of really getting your momentum. So with our new district set up here and our population really about to boom, you can see the needs are being met. And as the needs are met, increases the population. We set up more fishing. We also did set up a spinner and a felter here. So that's going to be giving us an income boost for our new district. You can see their area of effects are going to be hitting all these houses here. And the ones on the other side will be reaching the edge of this district as well. So we're going to be essentially reaching a neutral income here. So we're not going to be in the red anymore, which is always nice. But, the time is now. Our boat is exploring. And one of the big things you want to do is find the Emperor's representative. Now, this is an essential part of the build because the Emperor, trading with other AI players, it takes a long time. If we go to diplomacy and try and trade with her, she doesn't want any of that smoke. Negative 180, because we're insignificant. We don't have a lot of prestige yet. We don't have devotion. There's a lot of things she doesn't like. But the Emperor's representative, they are not picky. The Emperor will basically trade with you no matter what. So if you go here, they will buy any goods you have to offer. So once we start getting our arms and armor up, we're going to establish a trade route here, which is going to give us the goodies. Another way to make money early on is to go look for contracts. So you can deliver timber and lumber, and this is a really easy way to make money too. So honestly, we probably will do this here in just a minute. So now that we've expanded here on the coastline, you can see we got these additional row of houses, all of which are going to be under the influence. We did move our spinner and our other building here using the relocation tool to make sure that everything was efficient. And we're looking pretty good. We always want to assess our needs, make sure that everything is being met. I think we're pretty good. You can tab between different types of goods here to always check that. But yep, the supply and demand is pretty much equal and efficient for the tunics, although you can see right now it's adjusting because we just built some new stuff. But 2 and 2, probably going to need, as we just expanded here, we're going to need to probably get some more sheep on the island and maybe get another hemp farm as well. But regardless, we're about to go to tier 2. So to do this, we're going to go right over here, upgrade these houses. And you can see we have a massive excess of Libertas workforce. I like to stay on tier 1 a little bit longer and really make sure you're cooking there. But this is where we really start to feast. We're at tier 2 now. We unlock tile making, but more importantly, charcoal. Once we get this, we're going to be able to get the more advanced buildings, so Sanctuary and Grammaticus, which are going to unlock our God, as well as our research, which then I'll be able to really show you the tech paths. Bit of a logistical thing on this island. You'll notice we have a huge island with 1 million river slots actually, which is actually quite nice, but they're very far away from us. So we're gonna have to do a big road here and set up our clay pits and our tillers and all that good stuff. So we'll be back once that's all set up here. So now we have our charcoal burners going up here. So they're going to be gathering from the woods. And when you build charcoal burners, despite being an evil Dowizar tyrant, you still want your unpaid interns to be getting in there and being healthy. So you want to build them away from your city, right? So that's going to be the idea. Up in the north, we do have our clay pits, and they are going to be bringing out the clay. And then we need to build tillers. So usually I like to build all this far away from the city because we're going to be building weaponsmiths and armor smiths in our city, which is going to massively increase the fire risk. Basically, how this works is the bigger fire risk you have in a city, the more frequent there's going to be fires and the bigger they're going to be. So it's going to be really bad for us with this build. It's one of the downsides, but it comes with a lot of wealth, I promise. But yeah, you guys are going to see it in just a minute, but we will hopefully try and mitigate some of those risks, and we'll see how it goes. So let's get this set up here, guys, and we'll see you in just a minute. So when setting up the tillers, they do have a minute processing time, whereas the clay pits are 30 seconds. So usually you're going to go pretty heavy duty on the tillers to make sure you have a good ratio there. The charcoal burners are here, and the fires of industry are now officially lit. And we're going to be unlocking some military tech soon. We do have the City Watch. When I play as my Chaos Dwarf Ares strategy here, I really don't mess with the fire safety too much. I mean, I do, all jokes aside, but like I wait for there to be a fire and then I drop one down and they just panic respond to it. It's all in the flavor. It works great. Don't worry about it. It'll be all right. Unlocked belief in our city, and the reason why we unlocked belief, even though we didn't build a religious building yet, is because when you get a bigger tier city, it actually gives a belief to the residences. So that is one of the benefits of getting a bigger city. So belief, we have Ceres, who's going to increase the population and increase the supply chain of these various techs here. You have Neptune, which obviously helps with naval aspects and helps you with fishing and garum and other tier 2 stuff. Newly constructed ships are going to be more durable. Very cool, but we're going with the big boy, Mars. The Ares are in Mars. You guys get it. Oh, looks like he's happy. He's like, oh, you worship the god of war too. He's a very powerful adversary. I think he's the expert difficulty 1. But regardless, he increases the sandals, armor-making charcoal production. And eventually it's going to be increasing 10% here, another 20% here, 30%. So you're really able to mass produce the weaponry. And the really good part, let me explain why this build is dank. Weapons have a very good price point. They sell for 29 a pop. Soap sells for 29, but you know what? The deal is with soap, you can only make soap if you have, lavender on your island, which you don't have. Many of these resources are blocked by certain resources or things that are only available on other islands or you have to trade for. But with armor smithing, as long as you have iron, you're cooking. Like, it sells very well. And once we get armor sells even better than the weapons. And we're really, really able to feast there. So that will get going here soon. We're going to copy and paste one of our districts here using the copy tool. And we're going to be setting up on the coast to really capitalize on the fishing markets later on. And that looks like it is an okay spot. So let's drop it like it's hot. That's going to increase our population, connect it with roads. And the fire rises, my friends. The fire rises. See, even the advisor knows. He's like, your city is growing and the risk of fire. Yes, we're already at negative 209. Perfect. So you can mouse over and, of course, see what the issues are. But mainly the charcoal burners and the tillers. We have minimized the risk by putting them out here. But, yeah, it's still going to be a problem. All right. So our next district's getting set up. And I will let you guys know as soon as the old mines are returning. Okay, so now that we've reached the appropriate plebeian population, you can see we've unlocked military buildings. We can build palisades, wooden archer towers. A barracks is where we're going to be recruiting infantry later on, but in this case, you're going to go straight to the weapons chain. So iron mines, you just need to find mountain slots, and the iron mines do indeed use plebeian workforce, so you're going to need to upgrade some of your basic buildings here. You can see our new village there is going to be getting going, and we are going to get these mines set up. But the first thing you want to do, probably before you go into that, is get a grammaticus. So the grammaticus is a plebeian building. You're going to drop it here and just somewhere where it can affect as many. This is like a great spot right here. Basically that entire block. Grammaticuses have far less range than sanctuaries, for example, which you can see hits like everything here. But the grammaticus is prime time because we're going to drop it now. And don't be afraid about going into debt in this game. It's really, really not a big deal. And for the sake of being really lore friendly here, the AI will often offer you gifts because they want diplomatic assurances. So when you attack them, you take more of a penalty reputation-wise if they've been giving you gifts. So we just decline that just to keep our options open. And also I want to show you guys what the build is capable of. So now we have this and we can go ahead and go over all the research. So religion, I think I forgot to set Ares as the patron earlier. So there you go. So now that's going to get cooking. And we're going to go to research. So let's pause this so we can really take a thorough look here. And we can look at all the texts that are really essential. So the civic stuff, it's good. Like improving the health and safety of your people, all that. But, that's not really our cup of tea right now. Right now, we are going to go into a couple key things. We're going to rush armor making. And then once we rush armor making, we're going to come back across and we're going to rush fish markets on the other side. And that is basically the culmination of the build. So armor making means we can get that exporting of armor very quickly and get those supplies produced. Trade post improvements is nice for making your dock a little bit less congested when it comes to distributing. Sewing circles, one of the best techs in the entire game. It gives all of your spinners, so your clothing making facilities, a knowledge area effect so you tech faster, and then you can go to fish markets. You could also do the inverse here, so we could do that for this playthrough. It doesn't really matter, but those are the first ones you want to get. So we're going to go here, here, and here to get the fish markets, which will probably be a bigger boost out of the gates, and then we'll come back this way and get the armor making. So that is how that goes. And now the belief is going to be coming up with Ares, but we need to build the religious buildings, of course, the sanctuaries, to make sure that we can get that belief going. So we're just going to drop it right in the old middle here, connect with some roads, and then it should actually hit all these houses up here as well. So as we progress along here, you'll notice that we did get a bunch of wheat farms going because bread making is one of the most valuable ways to make money and also, of course, massively increases your population. So in this situation, we've gotten our wheat farms, we have our flour processing at the grain mill up in the north, and then we're going to be dropping it. So these will increase the fire hazard in our city, but give us a huge income boost of +2. So, you can always move things around to find optimal placing. I could move the Grammaticus probably a little bit up this way. So we could drop it up here, but keeping the Grammaticus there is pretty freaking sweet. So we'll find a spot for the bread makers here, and you guys are going to see the income spike here in just a minute. So now we're going to be constructing our sanctuary here. Sanctuary will give us belief as well as happiness. So all of these different houses now are going to have more belief in Ares. That's going to further solidify our religion here. So you can see it's going to start skyrocketing there. Of course, when you get higher global belief, you can eventually make shrines and gladiators, and your armies are stronger later on, which is very cool. But regardless, early on, it helps with happiness in your city. You can see we already have a pretty substantial fire hazard and health hazard, but our people are happy, and that's what matters. We will keep them nice and content until we build our governor's villa here, which is going to hit all of this. And now our workforce is growing. We have bread coming in as well. So you can see our income is starting to jump up now because our bread makers are going to be active in the city. I believe I put one over here. Let me see. We can always just go and check where the bread making is right there. And yes, so one bread maker there, one there. And we have set up a new coastal colony down there as well, which we will be setting up bread makers in. So we have a festival for Ares, which is going to be lasting for 4 hours. So if you're planning early aggression, it's very good because basically your barracks units are going to be getting increased melee attack damage of all land troops recruited while the festival is active. And it's 4 hours real time too. So basically your troops are going to be stronger than that of your enemies. Even if it means going into some debt, as long as it's not below negative 10,000, which can trigger a bankruptcy defeat, just pay for it, enjoy your life, and go from there. We're at 6,000 now, but our income is going to be jumping up. Established our first iron mines here. So of course, if we go to our religion and take a look, you can see Ares here currently is giving us a 20% production bonus of charcoal, and of course of the supply chains that are going to be related to iron ore, and weapons. So we're going to be producing a lot of those resources, which we'll of course be exporting here relatively soon. All right, team, our supply chain is set up. We have the iron mines churning out the goodies. We have the furnaces, which are going to take the ore here in a minute. And then we have the weaponsmith. So now we're going to be producing several of these. And if you look at the efficiency, for example, let's see if one of them is active yet. Okay, this forge is active, so we can show you guys there. And we mouse over the efficiency. You can currently see we have 100%, plus the boon of Mars is an additional 20% on that. So instead of being a minute to process, it's going to be 49 seconds, which is going to be sweet. So of course our main ship here has gone up to the north. I was going to buy some wood for some expansion. Again, we can also look for specialists, and this is really good. If you can find a specialist that helps with your forging, it's like a cheat code and you could just pop off early in the game. But here, this guy's actually really good. Residences in range, get Nolus if a Peleus is supplied. He's only 2.5k, so honestly, might grab him and run back to the base here. So one thing I forgot is you should relocate your weaponsmiths to your city if you're really going to be playing like the Chaos Dwarves. We already have a massive fire risk, but you know what? We're here to party. So this is going to give us a huge AoE income of +1. Not as good as a bread maker, but still it adds up. So you're going to put that in the city here. We're going to grab this one and move it into this district. So we just need to find a little spot for that. Probably we'll relocate things a little bit. So we're going to move you over this way, and then we can relocate our weapon forge over there. Perfect. So that whole city is going to be giving us an income boost, and this is where the fires of industry really kick in. We're at +130 right now, which isn't that crazy of an economy, but it's going to get crunk here relatively soon. We'll put a second warehouse just for efficiency until we get the warehouse upgrades, and I'll be back once the income is booming. So now we're going to be dropping our governor's villa here. So it's a little bit risky to put it near the shore because the boats will be able to shoot from the other side. Granted, if you put some towers there, you just really don't want to be right up against the coast. But right here, it is going to have a good sphere of influence and basically hit all of our starting regions. So we're going to drop that. Then we're going to add our specialists we got, and we do have a couple of them. These ones are from Unlock, so we're not going to use those. It's from like an extra perk thing. So we're going to get the Sartorist. Knowledge from Peleus if supplied. So all of these homies are going to get that. So that's going to be a massive area effect where we're going to get a huge knowledge boost, which is going to shoot us up to about 500 here. But we are going to keep expanding our knowledge as we go here. And oh, perfect. So a fire started in our city. It's right here. And hey, we don't have any fire safety. But what's great is you can just be like, oh man, I'm going to panic respond here. And we're just going to build a firefighter station very, very close nearby. And right there, perfect. And those homies are going to go and deal with the fire. Now, what's really haggard about this is you can click on it and you can drag it to other areas and emergencies. So it's a pretty funny, it's not the most efficient. You're going to have horrible fire safety with this build. Look at that. Negative 326 from swords and bread. But we're making good money for this point in the game. Even though we are operating in a little bit of debt. But you know, that's how I roll, baby. It's going to get even richer. You just wait. No big deal, just a disaster in our main city here. Look, the people are enjoying it. They're walking down the streets. They're like, this rules, dude. This absolutely rules. As a matter of fact, they're carrying a giant pyre. But this is all part of the plan when you're playing the Chaos Dwarf style. You just let the Nurglings feast, and you come back. You know, we have the tools to repair this city. I mean, look, it really wasn't that big of a deal. When it's all said and done, you know, everything's going to be repairing, and you can use the instant repair to basically rectify the issues. You can't do it immediately, but after like a minute, lets you do it. And if you have like the fires of industry going and a huge lumber economy, you know, it's acceptable losses here. So we're going to repair the city. So the next chain you do want to focus on if you're playing with Ares is, of course, sandal making. So we have our leather, our pigs. We have established our salt ponds, and we've also gotten our garum makers, which is going to be applying a need category for our plebeians, which is going to increase population and income as well. But Aries does give you an advantage to Sandal Maker. And Sandal Makers don't have any downside of being built in a city, and they're also very small, so check this out. Oh, that's so good. So that's going to give us a huge income boost right there. We can look around our other cities and basically just put down a couple Sandal Makers here. All right, so I think our first batch of weapons is ready to deliver. So we're going to go ahead and just drop off some extra wood we had, and we are going to take all of these swords, which are going to be selling for 29 a pop. So we're going to load up our boat, which can't carry a lot, but that is something we can deal with later. And of course, something you're going to want to do is build a shipyard, start building ropes and sails, and at some point you're going to be able to get quite a bit of mileage out of these trade routes where you're just constantly selling nonstop waves of armor. So we're going to sail to the Emperor's Enclave, and we're going to sell that. We'll be back in a second. So as we dig ourselves out of debt, we're going to be going back into debt to drop more Grammaticuses, so we're going to be able to get our tech advancements. These are very, very big. If we drop it right here, for example, oh, that's so much knowledge right there. So that's good and tasty, and as long as you're staying under the 10,000, man, really, really living on the edge, but it's great. Sewing Circles is about to finish, a very, very powerful tech. It gives all of your sewing buildings an area of effective knowledge. So currently right now we're sitting at 909 knowledge, and we're going to take a look at what this is going to be in a second, and you know what, we can even drop a couple more to really make it nice and juicy right there. So we're going to drop it like so. See if there's any other areas that don't have it, and we could even build it up in our industrial regions where we're kind of focusing on that, but getting the residentials covered is one of the more important things, and most of it appears to be covered now, and our knowledge now is going to be 1100, which is a huge boost. And the next big boost we're going to be seeing is 10 minutes from now when we get the fish markets. The fish markets, dude, +3 income from all of these coastal buildings. You notice we'll be focusing on the coast here, which is going to be very powerful. Next thing, we have our first delivery. So here we have our swords. So we go here, and we're going to be selling, and that's going to be giving us 1700. Now, this is something that with Aries, you can pretty much do perpetually, and other AI or contracts on the map will often try and buy these, so we trade that, and you can see it's going to dig us out of debt really quickly. We can head back to the base, so the weapons crafting should be in full effect. We can currently see how we're looking, so we do have an excess of iron. The ingots are pretty much on pace, and another 15 swords. So by the time we get back to collect that, we're probably going to have another batch of 50, and if we had multiple ships, which we will work on now, we're going to be able to really get some fat exports going. Looks like the old crone loves our relations to Mars, even though she's probably going to be the first one we invade. We'll see how she likes it then. Okay, so our income is starting to pop off now. We're currently sitting at 1,000, a lot of which is going to be coming from our weapons manufacturing, so we will go and continue to augment that by setting up some weaponsmiths down here, and we also need to get bread makers there. So we're going to set that up like so. And also, bread making is the other way you're really going to make a ton of money early. And even if you have too much bread, you just export it. You're going to be all right. You can go ahead and take that on your little sales runs. And one of the techs that we're going to get quickly here, once we get the fish markets and get the armor, you then want to probably get quarter mastery, so your main capital ship is going to be able to carry more goods. Looking back at the base, you can also see we do have sails being made. So now we're making rope and we're making sails, and soon we're going to be able to do a massive fleet with which we can invade if we wanted to. So now we're going about our island right now, and we are going to be setting up a bunch of sanctuaries, making sure that we have warehouses to address everything we need in the cities. And it looks like I did not connect this one properly to the streets. That is something you got to look out for sometimes. But bread maker, going to be online soon. We do have flour, we have charcoal in reserve. Might need to get some more charcoal burners, but our faith in Aries is going to be growing. And as we take a look at our current faith situation, we are sitting pretty good. We got 912 followers, 40% augment of our various supply chains here. And also our troops are going to be stronger when we get them from the mainland. And shrines will be available the next year. We probably won't get that into today's little build guide, but it's pretty easy to do. You basically just build shrines in your city, and it helps out quite a bit. The boat has also arrived back to the island, so we're going to load this bad boy up. We're going to grab any weapons that are available there, and you can look for other things that you have in excess and take those and sell those. For example, we could take sheep, even though they barely sell for anything, but every little thing can matter, although sheep we probably need for sales. So we're just going to take our weapons, go back to the Emperor's representative, and sell those bad boys. We're currently sitting at about 1,100 income, so not bad at all for such a noob that I am. So we've set up our dock here, and you can see we almost have enough sails and rope to build our first civilian ship, which are very nice. You can always customize your boats too, but the civilian ship has 3 cargo slots, requires very little crew to function, and is going to be basically running our trade routes for us because it can get some work done. Also want to look around. Eventually, when you get diplomacy, you can see what the other governors want. You can go to their islands and look for contracts to really min-max. Like, she wants 51 pigs, which is a very easy goal to meet, and she will give you 2,000 for it, right? So that is going to be very, very lucrative there. But now we have hit our first big power spike. We have research fishing markets, and our knowledge is coming along relatively well. We're at about 1,200, but look at that. 1,600 income is fat. Because all of these fishing nodes are giving AoE income to our coastal city. So when we click right here, just, oh yeah, dude, just give it to me, precious. All these income buildings here, although this one I probably should replace. Nope, we have one right there. Great. We got one right here as well. We got a fishing hut, which is hitting that entire coastal residence. Huge income boost. So the next part of the plan in this tech is you get the provisional castra, which lets you encamp your troops, which is nice for military. But we research armor smithing. And since we already have a really effective iron chain set up here, we might need to do more. Yeah, we have 63 and not a lot of iron, so we probably need to augment that and get more iron going. Then you make armor crafters, which you can build in your cities to even further augment your income. And you go from there. So down here, our cities, we are lacking in some needs. We, of course, we have all the food needs, but we are lacking in the household stuff. So we don't have access to resin or to olive oil. So you would want to find another isle. So basically, once you get this economy booming, you save up, you mouse around and look for an island that can produce those two resources. This one's good. It has resin, also is great for vineyards. We could see if we can find something better looking around the map. Or, this one's actually nice. Olive oil is very good, and lavender, so we can do soap making and olive oil there, which will let us go to the next tier. But, you can also just look. I mean, this island is juicy, right? And we could easily crush this island's defenses pretty quickly by building up a military with our weapons and armor we're having. You can rush to the Legionnaire tech, which is all I need to do is get a barracks to unlock this. And Legionnaires will probably crush this guy's defenses. Now, attacking his main island is hard because the AI basically cheats and gets a lot of towers very quickly. But we could get over there and take over that island. But anyways, we'll be back here in just a minute. City status increased. We're at massive risk of revolts, plague, as well as island health, but that's all good. We're making a lot of money. So that's how we roll here. And soon we're going to have armor crafting. Setting up our first barracks here is going to be unlocking the tech that we need to get the Legionnaires. So we'd set that up next. And this is kind of the way I like to play this build. And of course, once we do, really get comfortable, we're going to start building emergency services around the city. I mean, even now I'm going to do it probably in between the little appearances that we do make here. And yeah. We need a plebeian workforce for Legionnaires. So you're going to build basically military districts, which are just exclusively for like building population for military. And then from there, you're really, really able to get, 5, 6, 7 Legionnaires with your Ares upgrades that you're going to be getting from your religion. And you march on people's islands, and basically very few of the AI governors are going to be able to fight you, especially if you choose one that isn't as militaristic. This gentleman here is the most militaristic, very, very powerful. But the other ones, for example, are more, they have nice little tight, compact cities, but nothing that a brick of Legionnaires couldn't come in and take down. Now we're going to get our first ship, which is going to be doing a perpetual trade route, which we'll show you guys when that is ready. And we're about to have armor smithing done, only a couple more minutes here. Now they're firing the city, but honestly, not that big of a deal. Our firefighters were built in the main city. They're going to take care of those fires, and we should be able to recover pretty quickly. So our ship has arrived back at the base, and you just kind of continue on this pattern. And honestly, we could even just set up a trade route now. Our other ship is going to be coming up, our civilian ship, and armor smithing has been discovered. Perfect timing. So for armor smithing, you need leather, which we could take a look. We should have a pretty good chain of leather. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we got the pigs. We got the leather makers. Currently, we have 16 surplus leather. We have mass amounts of extra pigs. So what you could just do in this situation, take off planning mode right here. We're going to go ahead and just set up another leather maker. So we have that. And now the armor makers are going to be set up on the island. So we're going to get this going. And oh, look at that juicy AoE. Oh, it's so good. So we're going to optimize that, guys, and we'll be back when it's done. So as you can see, these perpetual trade runs, we're already at plus 10,000, making 1,500 right now. I just did make some investments that cost me a little bit of money. But overall, we should be economically the strongest of everyone on the board at this time. We have 58 more swords to take care of, so this is a good time to set up a trade route. So here in this situation, you will go to new trade routes. You're going to click on your island, the Emperor's Conclave, and back to yours. Add a ship. We can add our civilian ship, so we can use the other one for military in case raiders come. We're going to go ahead and export as many swords as possible and as much armor as possible. We will sell these goods here and establish the route. So our tiny little ship is basically just going to do this in perpetuity. Selling those nonstop. And when you're ready to actually go to war, you can halt the sales. And you can see right now, we are just rolling in it. If we look at diplomacy, for example, you can look at this. They built some units, but economically, our economic power is 3.6. Theirs is 1.2. As we take a look over at this AI, this is the advanced expert AI. We're at 3.6. They're at 1.2. Obviously, they're not players, but this is still pretty good. I mean, this lady, I don't even know what she's doing. She's at 212, but yeah, low happiness, all good. You know, as you run into issues, you basically just, this isn't the optimal way to play, but you can set up things as these happen. In my other playthroughs, I promise you, my cities are not burning and constantly rebelling. This is just our Chaos Dwarf Ares build, which is very, very fun. So armor smithing is done. Legionnaires are going to be done in 20 minutes of game time, at which point we would then start producing, we would just invest in big economic districts here and start pumping out, 4, 5, 6 legionnaires. We would encamp them, build some military ships to take them over, the Legio, or if you're able to get the triremes, which is down the tech tree a little bit down here, you can go that route and get more advanced ships. You kind of assess, does your opponent have a good navy? Well, maybe I need triremes to break through. If they don't, and they're more land-based, just get low-tier military ships, even civilian ships, and you can take your military over there and feast. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. It's a really, really fun playstyle. The armor crafting is going to kick in here in just a second, so we can do a little bit of fast forwarding. Missing the goods right now. The iron ingot should be getting brought over. I needed to build some more forges, so we'll be back once the iron is back online here. And right as we do get that, we get a disease. Just drop a doctor's quarters down here. The Medici, they'll take care of it. Might be some casualties, but it's all part of the process here. So the armory is now operational. Huge area of effect income, 150, almost 2,000 gold per minute. Down here, of course, we need to repair our districts. We did have a little bit of a disaster, some unrest, but the police did take care of it. And armor crafting is going to be going down here. And as we take a look at the armor, we can go at our upgraded trading post. Armor is super lucrative. It sells for 48 a pop. To buy armor is 120 a pop, but selling it is about 50, which is so good. So if you can just get like 5, 6, 7 armor makers going and just constantly be exporting those goods and also using it to supplement your military, because advanced ships, if you take a look, okay, we can't show you here, but if we go to the tech tree, you can get the upgrade called plated hulls, which means you can add armor to your ships. And in order to do that, you need to have armor crafters. So it makes your ships way more durable than the basic ship. So really, really fun playstyle. Highly recommend it. We're only on tier 2 now, but we could go to tier 3 pretty quickly. We basically just need to get amphorae or olive oil, and you can just import those. I could go down here and buy all of these, bring them back, and it would satisfy that good need. I could even do this. I could set up a trade route. We're going to do a new one here. We're going to do this, this, and this. We're going to add our capital ship, and then he's just going to perpetually go and buy this, and we can see if there's anything she wants to buy. She's looking to buy excess clay and oats, so if we had extra clay, we could sell it down there, but really, you just unload this here. That's going to get our needs met, and then we could go to tier 3, which is the Equitus, which I'll be doing live streams in the next couple days. You guys will be able to see us get to the later tier. We'll get to tier 3, we'll get to tier 4. You can see I believe, is that my ship? It's called Not a Smuggler? I didn't name it that. That's pretty funny. We just sold, so we're at 20,000. We could easily settle one of these islands now. We can come over here, bring a ship over, settle one of these, expand. We have the best economy probably in the board. We're at about 2,000 a minute, and we are really, really sitting pretty. So super fun way to play. Once you get this big economic powerhouse going of armor crafting, exporting arms, I recommend, if you're really trying to be efficient, actually just getting your your public order in check. Because right now everything's a disaster because we ignored all of that for the sake of economy. So set up a doctor's quarters up here, make room for it in one of your cities, and just really get all of your villages nice and stable. But the idea of this build, fish markets, really, really good. And you build on the coast, then you rush armor smithing. You can, even if you don't want to play the fish markets way, you can rush armor smithing and get that going quicker. I don't know which one is stronger economically, but they're both very viable and very fun ways to play. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the Fires of Hashut and the armor smithing and weapon exporting build. And let me know your thoughts. Let me know what builds you're looking forward to. There's so much you can do in this game. It's nuts. So many different tech routes. But that's going to be it for today. You guys take care of yourselves. And yeah, Mars bless, right? Yeah, Mars is here. He's chilling. By the way, I think we're pretty close. Yeah, we unlocked the shrines. His shrines are really good. It gives you permanent population and prestige. Prestige gives you more specialists. And you can see there's some other cool deities here as well. But the gladiators are awesome. You can also just rush them if you want to. All right, guys. See you around. That's it for today.